This is my 24th episode of breakfast, lunch, and dinner cooking. And I have a girlfriend, Pam, that always encourages me. And I want to thank you, Pam. This one's for you. So here we go. Apple coffee cake. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take 2 cups of flour. I've got my oven preheated to 375 also. 2 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and mix that all up. I guess you can add the cinnamon too. This is probably a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I got this little thing from the Netherlands when I visited my daughter, and I thought I'd try it today. It is nutmeg in the nut. I'm gonna try it. I hope I don't wreck anything. And I got this little grater, so I'm gonna try it here. And you gotta be careful with nutmeg. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Well, yeah, I got a little bit off of there. So, okay, I'm glad I did that. I've never tried that. Okay, we're gonna put some vanilla, about a teaspoon, and we're gonna put 1 egg. And a cup of milk. This is pretty much my same recipe that I use for muffins. It just varies a little bit. And about a 1/4 cup of oil. We're going to mix that up. I always break up the yolk so that I had something that, I think it was a pie that I made, and it had like the egg eye in it. So you always got to make sure you get that egg mixed up good. Okay. And I made this applesauce on my 23rd video, and I thought I would try to use it up. You can buy like apple pie filling. I would think this is more like pie filling. So what I'm going to do is I buttered my pan. And I'm going to put my batter in the pan. Oh, I didn't taste the batter. Pretty good. You don't want it real sweet because this apple filling or pie filling or sauce or whatever is going to be sweet. Going to spread that out. I got this little pan from Dollar Tree. It makes a perfect little coffee cake pan. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, I have to get this out, I'm sorry. I'm going to take some brown sugar and just lightly flake it on the top. And some pecans. You know, coffee cake always looks good with pecans on it. Don't ever grab the bottom of your nuts because you don't want to get the, sometimes there'll be little pieces of the peel and, I mean not peel, but little pieces of the shell. You don't want that. So kind of just arrange them to look pretty. And then what I'm going to do, you know how coffee cake always seems like it has two little rows of fruit? I'm going to take and make like two little rows of fruit. So when they cut it, it looks fruity, you know? And I'm sure you could do this with a can of pie filling. Separate that a little bit. This has got a lot of sugar in it. In fact, I put a half a cup of sugar in this, and these apples were kind of sweet. I kind of wish that I had put a quarter cup, but I think if you use Macintosh apples, if you watch my other video, you'll see. So the oven is preheated, and it's ready to go in the oven, and we'll see what we've got. I'll see you in about 25 or 30 minutes on 375. Okay, it's coming out of the oven. Look at how pretty that is. And I'm going to come back in about an hour, and we're going to put a pretty glaze on it after it cools off, and I'll be back. It's been about, I don't know, 50 minutes, and look how pretty. So what I'm going to do is I melted some butter, and I'm going to make a little glaze with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this butter. This was about a quarter of a stick of butter. You don't need a lot for this. Then I'm going to take a cup of powdered sugar, making a mess as usual. That's about a cup. And then I'm going to add a little vanilla, just a splash. And I wanted to tell you my coffee cake took 35 minutes on 375. And always poke it with a toothpick to make sure it's done when it comes out. So just kind of mix this up. And then you want to add just a splash of milk because you got to be oh so careful with this glaze. Otherwise you're going to have to, I'm actually going to use this spoon. be doing it very slowly. See, I could be doing this with a frosting too. Then you would want to leave it thicker like this. Frosting is butter, powdered sugar, vanilla, and milk if you need it, depending on how much butter you melt. See, now that would be pretty close to a frosting. Now just a little tiny splash of milk because you don't want to make it too runny. But I am going to be doing like a drizzle, so it's going to be a little more runny than normal. So that was a cup of powdered sugar, teaspoon of, well, a splash of vanilla, quarter cup of butter. Okay, I'm going to do just a little teeny weeny little bit more. Hope that's not too much. No, that looks about right. Okay, actually, it's got to be a little thinner to do a drizzle. But you still got to be so careful. Okay. Now, take your coffee cake and just do like a little drizzle back and forth over the top. Like that. Just so it gives the coffee cake prettiness and a little bit more sweet. Okay, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to cut a piece and show you how pretty this is. I had a knife, here it is. And when you cut your your coffee cake or whatever, be careful not to really gouge your pan, especially if it's Teflon. Look at that pretty piece of coffee cake. And it's going to be really good. Thank you so much for watching my 24th video. And God bless you. And remember, there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. And love the Lord with all your heart.